Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 90 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing, highlighting that transformational moment that changed our lives, and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also join our Facebook group at Life Transformation Radio Community on Facebook, and never miss an episode by subscribing where you listen to podcasts. You can hear Life Transformation Radio on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Pandora, and we are available on our YouTube channel at Life Transformation Radio. Please subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our show, wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure you share it with your friends. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, and other amazing people who are impacting everyone around them. And my guest today has done exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, Tuesday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, go ahead and give us a call at 657-383-1109. Again, the number 657-383-1109. If you're joining us live, go ahead and give us a call and ask your questions. With that, please help me welcome to the show my amazing guest for today, Kevin Beck. Kevin, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Dude, I'm super pumped to have you on the show, man. I was a guest on your podcast, and we had an amazing conversation. And I love what you guys are doing over there. And I'm excited to dig into your journey, man, and be on the other side of the microphone.
Yeah, it's kind of weird being on this side, to be honest. I'm so used to interviewing other people, and so now I have to talk about myself. I'm so used to talking about the people that we talk to and helping promote them. So it gets a little weird.
Yeah, it's so much easier to just let them talk and have them answer the questions. But there's that vulnerability and the conversations that people should be having. And what I love about this show, this is episode 430. And the conversations that we have are conversations that we should be having anyways with ourselves, with our loved ones, with our friends and family and our community. And I just love having the conversations here. And then really that's what I love about podcasting is it's open, it's vulnerable. You can tell your opinions, without being censored. You can say what you really think or feel and, give a message to the people without having it filtered through social media platforms and it getting misconstrued, and people can hear the passion in your voice. So I really love, this platform, podcast.
I completely agree. A lot of times, like through text and like email is a perfect example. You can mean one thing, and if you don't be completely concise and clear in your statement or your joke or whatever you're trying to relay, it can be taken the wrong way very quickly. Whereas with the podcasts and radio shows and things like that, we're able to actually speak, and people can actually hear the context in which you're trying to say something. So I think that it's an amazing platform, and like you said, the censorship and things like that. I've been blocked on multiple social media platforms for completely like wrong stuff. Like I posted a funny meme not too long ago of a cat, and I got flagged for drugs, if you believe.
Wow.
This platform is definitely a lot cooler.
Oh, for sure. So the title of this episode is On the Journey to Self-Worth with podcaster Kevin Beck. Kevin Beck is a network operations consultant at Salesforce and co-founder, co-producer for Double B Creates podcast. He was born and raised in West Jordan, Utah, growing up fatherless, which led him on a journey of self-worth and to understand where he belonged in the world. Kevin set out on a mission to prove to people that college was not necessary in order to make a decent living. Then decided to go get his bachelor's in psychology after failing to get on the police force. His biggest passions in life are family and the outdoors. When he isn't spending time with his family, he will be found hunting anything legal and in season. His Facebook and LinkedIn link is right there in the show notes. Go ahead and click on those. Send him a friend request, letting him know that you listened to this episode of Life Transformation Radio. Kevin, the first question I have to ask, and I believe is the most important question you could ever ask, is why? Why do you do what you do?
It's a child of passion, really. As far as my career goes, that was something I actually fell into by way of accident, which is actually a really funny story. Some years ago, I was actually running a call center. I was a manager over a call center. I had a team of 30 plus people, and I didn't like firing people. I didn't like having people's livelihoods under my control. It was not for me. And I decided to change it up a little bit. And I applied for this job the better part of a decade ago, doing quality assurance for this other company. And me, being a closed-minded guy that didn't do his research, was thinking I was going in for like quality control, listening to phone calls because I was so accustomed to the call center world. That's how I interviewed for this position that I ended up somehow getting, where I did quality assurance for a software company. And then it just kind of transpired into where I'm at now, where I started learning more about tech and actually got pretty passionate about that because there's hundreds of different areas. People ask me, like, what do you do? And I'll try to explain to them, like, what the network operations center is and, like, what I do. And they get so lost the second I say the word server. So it's easier just to say IT, but that is such a wide umbrella that, like, the software world can be really, really kind of quite a big rabbit hole if you want to get into it. But as far as the podcast goes, it's kind of a pet project that fell into our lap in a really awkward way. Brad, my co-founder, and myself were sitting around one night at a fire pit that we had in my backyard, and I was drinking at the time, and we were sitting there rousing each other, just being men, and we were talking about YouTube channels and how a lot of them are so big, like that little kid that opens toys that makes millions of dollars a year, which is ridiculous. I was like, and he's in Target.
They've got a bunch of
and Walmart,
like Target and Walmart. Yeah, that's crazy.
And so we had the bright idea. We were like, we're talking about YouTube, and we're sitting here laughing at each other at each other's expense, which I think is like the camaraderie is weird. And other people, I think, would laugh at that. So we started a YouTube channel, and it was horrendous as we expected, but we still put it up and just let it roll. We didn't get as much hate as we expected, but how that YouTube channel transpired into the podcast that we're currently running is kind of where that that whole thing started. And shortly after we started the idea of the YouTube channel, we wanted to incorporate hunting and fishing and wilderness exploration and some other stuff into it, but never did get that far because I had decided that we were going to move. And we went to go put our house on the market, and my garage door opener decided to die. So our very first video was us just giving each other crap the whole time and replacing this garage door opener in this horrendously messy garage that was just full of stuff. And when I moved, we got to talking to one of our friends out in Kansas through Zoom, and we got done and looked at each other and said to each other, we said, this kind of almost seems like a podcast that I would listen to. And that's when the idea clicked. And so we were able to still work together all the way across the state. And that's when we started the podcast. And we kind of target our conversation towards business in terms of entry-level newcomers, people that want to start something, but don't kind of know exactly where they are at in life or what they really want to do, which was us at the time, which in all honesty still is. But fast forward like 6 months, Brad ended up moving out to Kansas, so now we're states away and we're still able to go on this journey with each other. And
cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. We did just bring Brad's brother Billy onto the team as well, and he's been tremendous help in terms of the managerial aspect because we are the most unorganized two guys you'll ever meet.
Right. Awesome, man. Yeah, we talked about on your show about doing sponsorships. You know, there was some bows and some other gear like on the wall. I'm like, dude, you got to do some sponsorships. Like, you got to start getting those sponsorships. But I love that you guys are enjoying what you're doing, and you had the wherewithal to make it a podcast. You know, most people are like, oh, well, this is really bad, and I really don't want to do this anymore, and yeah, we should just call it. This isn't going to be any good. We should just quit. You know, and most people would have done that. Most people would have quit, but you know, I'm glad you guys didn't.
Yeah, so am I, and I appreciate you saying that. It's not been an easy journey, we'll say that much. We didn't do any research whatsoever and just rolled with it, and we took a lot of punches at the beginning. I think we burned quite a few bridges with some pretty big people, but it is what it is now.
Yep.
We've learned our
man, it is what it is.
Forward.
Yeah, man. Like, you're gonna learn. Always start ugly. You're gonna learn, and there's nothing wrong with it. I told somebody today, being in the military, I tell people like, man, I love failure, man. They're like, what? No, man, excellence in all we do, and we got to be perfect all the time, and that's how people get killed. I'm like, dude, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. The point is that you learn from failure and you fail forward, not backward. You don't stop for the learning. You just keep going.
Exactly.
Oh well, I'm like, man, you just don't get it.
Criticism's the same way. I am really different when it comes to criticism. I love negative criticism. I don't like positive criticism. Like, if somebody's like, oh, everything you're doing is perfect and you guys are amazing, and I listen to every episode, I'm like, crap, I am not doing something. Like, there's something wrong here. And in the corporate world, I've always kind of gone and butted heads with all of my bosses because I'm always like, what can I do to improve? Nothing, you're doing fine. No, shut up. Like, what can I do? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, where, I'm always kind of, it's the perfectionist in me, I guess. And a lot of people have a hard time giving that negative criticism. And to me, it's not actually even negative. To me, it's constructive because that allows me to change. We used to swear a lot on our show, and we're restructuring for 2021, where we don't. It may here and there we'd get a couple words, but nothing like we used to. It used to be all out, like whatever goes, and it didn't matter. But now, like we've had a couple people reach out and go, like, yo, I love your show, I love what you guys are doing, but I'm having a hard time getting through all the expletives. We're like, okay, sweet, thanks. So that's what we're doing.
Well. Yeah, I got a friend of mine. Shout out to Christopher Lockhead. His show, Lockhead on Marketing and Follow Your Different, and he showed I think it was like a 1, maybe a 2-star, but I'm pretty sure it was a 1-star. And they're like, the host unnecessarily swears every other word. And he was like, I'm proud of this one. This is a great compliment. Like, I'm proud of this. And I was like, oh, man. He's like, if my audience can't filter through those words and get my content and get my point, then they're not my audience. I don't care. And he's very dead set on having a select audience. He doesn't want millions of people to listen to his podcast. He wants the people who need to listen to the podcast, and then because they listen to the podcast, do something with it. So there's that. I want to talk about the transformation. The whole point of the show is to highlight the transformational moments that people go through. And we go through a lot of transformation. I'm going through a transition, if you will, but a kind of a transformation of my life where I, getting retired from the military is about that time. It's been 20 years. So time to transition out to retirement from the military, but more of a transformation of lifestyle. So what was a transformational moment that took place in your life and it put you on the path to what you're doing today?
We can go old or we can go new. I just thought of two right off the bat.
Either one. It's
in my
one
bio,
that said, this was that moment, right? This was that moment.
Yeah. We'll go old. So in my bio, it says that I set out on a mission to prove to people that college wasn't necessary in order to make a decent living. And I still stand by that, even though I caved and went to college. And it was because I didn't know who I was, didn't know who I wanted to be, and didn't know my place in the world. So I was, as a kid, and even now, for whatever, like my dream is to be a firefighter. And I got a scholarship offer as a kid, then looked at the numbers to get my paramedic 1, 2, EMT, all of that good stuff to become a firefighter. And teenage Kevin looked at the $16,000 final price tag and went, no way I am ever going to pay that much for an education. So I have family and friends that are in law enforcement, whether it be military, civilian, county, state, whatever. So I decided I was going to go into the police force, but I was going to do it in such a way that I didn't have to actually attend the police academy prior to getting hired. There's a couple, what do they call them? Precincts, I guess, districts. Yeah. That good enough to call it good. They'll actually hire you on and then put you through the police academy afterwards so that you don't have to pay for it up front. And that's what I was trying to do. And I had interview after interview, physical test after physical test. And finally, on the last one, it was for a unified, which is a collective of different towns, cities. They were hiring 20 people. They had 500 participants. And after the 6-month wait that I had to endure, I got placed number 389 out of 500. And I said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go to college and just get a job. So I got discouraged is what happened, and then changed my career path. So I started going into psychology, because you can make a lot of money if you get your PhD, open your own private practice if you want to do family therapy or like school counseling or whatever, you have those options. And I finished my bachelor's degree, started my master's, and dropped out 2 weeks in because I had that weird epiphany that said, this isn't who I am either. So
wow.
Smart me passed on $16,000, and fast forward to my bachelor's, which was $60,000. Now I'm in that situation.
Oh, wow.
And I don't do anything with my psychology degree except for it has taught me, because I'm this weird introverted nerd. Like, I'm the most awkward person in the world to talk to in person, but I can talk to people over the phone and through video just fine. Which was very apparent last night. I met like 5 or 6 people that are in this racing club that I'm a part of that's local. We race lawnmowers, dirt bikes and stuff. It's redneck racing. And I just kind of sat in the corner like this goofy, weird dude. And anytime anyone talked to me, I didn't know what to say. It's just so awkward. So it did teach me to talk to people. And for that part, I'm thankful. But was it worth $60,000? No, absolutely not.
Right.
So that was a weird thing. It taught me who I did not want to be. It didn't teach me who I wanted to be or where I wanted to go.
This is a great start. That's a great start, though, to start on who you do not want to be. I mean, most people can figure out, like, well, I know what I don't want. I mean, I know I don't want this or this or this or this. Good. Start there.
Mm-hmm.
Start at what you don't want. Start at who you don't want to be. And just start whittle those things away. And then pretty soon you come up with something that you want to do, someone that you want to be known as, or something that you want to be known for. But, you got to start at least at a minimum, whatever that looks like for you.
Absolutely.
You got to start. I know people who've been talking about doing something for like 10 years. I'm like, dude, you know what the best is? Here's the best, and you'll love this. So you're driving by an old farmhouse, and you're like, oh, dude, 67 Shelby Mustang. Oh, man, it's all ripped apart. Like, well, I wonder how much that is. I wonder how much that guy will sell it for. Go up to the house, see the man in the yard, like, hey, I saw your Mustang out there. Oh, yeah, I'm getting a fixing it. I just haven't got around to fixing it. I'm going to fix her up, though. I'm going to fix it up. There's a tree growing through the car, sir. There's like it's rusted. Oh, no, we're gonna fix her up. I'm telling you, we're gonna fix her up. Not for sale. We're gonna fix her up. I'm gonna get around to it. I haven't got around to it yet. What? Like, but that's. I mean, people have been talking about doing things for years, but then they don't do it. They find one excuse or another or whatever. Like, I all the broken promises and broken dreams from people, I just use it as a car collector. I just, I'm gonna fix it up. I've been meaning to fix that up for years. I'm gonna get to it. We're still gonna. Nope, not for sale. We're gonna fix it up. And I'm like, just do it. I really can't think of anything. You know what I'm saying? I can't really think of any reason other than a scarcity mindset that would preclude someone from starting something new. That's just
I like that analogy so much because I was that guy. I had a couple of vehicles. I was like, oh, I'm going to fix them. 4 years later, never touched it. I'm like, okay, selling it. Now I wish I wouldn't. But
right.
The scarcity mindset is a good point. I think another big point, and we talk about this a lot on my show, is people get scared. What if I fail?
Yeah.
What if I go to do public speaking and everybody boos me off the stage, and like they have this weird public image thing that I don't know why people seem to think that other people's opinions of them matter. Like, no one's opinion of me is any of my business. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's huge. I think fear is, in my opinion, the number one thing. Whether it be a podcast or even a Shopify store for all it matters, like something small. What if I never make sales and then I have to pay this $40, $50 a month or whatever? So what? You learn something. You suck at marketing. Like, that's where you need to focus. Maybe reach out if you want it to be a success. find somebody that's really good at marketing and get to know them, hire them, listen to them, execute their plan.
Right. That, again, man, I just can't think of any reason. I mean, unless you don't have any money or you just don't know what to do. But these days, it's like just Google something or YouTube or just get a coach. Like do something. Like you gotta do something.
The not having enough money thing. Just yesterday we talked about it. Like look around your house. You've got so much stuff that you don't use. Money is not an excuse.
Right.
If you really want something bad enough, you're going to figure it out and you'll make it work.
So let me ask you something. And when I have money people on the show, I always ask this question, but I think it's a little I think it's relevant. Have you ever lost a large sum of money, like just wasted it? Like you bought those cars and now you sold it. But I mean, have you ever wasted or lost, or you just don't have thousands of dollars anymore?
Multiple times, yes. And it's the same thing every freaking time.
What do you mean the same thing?
I got into a vehicle with a girl I was dating at one point, and we split. Still owed Josh, I think, $15,000 on the car. She took it, said she was going to repossess it. So I paid the bank to repossess it from her. I ended up not paying it, letting it get repossessed, had to pay that back.
Oh, boy. A lot of money.
Just bought a truck last year, and it's currently sitting on the side of my house. I don't ever drive it. And I went to go start it like a month ago, and it kind of exploded on me, and I still owe money on that. Like, it's always vehicles. Money and cars are just, I almost want to say they're worse than boats. You know what BOAT stands for? BOAT.
Oh, my
Break out
gosh,
of the house.
man.
And cars are just as bad. They're not an investment unless it's a really rare classic and you have a killer deal on it.
Yep. So I've built two 66 Mustangs, and that's what I do is I build hot rods and cars, and that's what I love to do. I'm never going to buy like a Honda. I'm never going to buy something that's just, oh, this is my daily, my daily driver is probably going to be a 60s Mustang. At one point, it was a 92 5.0. At one point, it was like a Duster. I'm probably going to have a hot rod or a classic car as my, my daily driver. Like, that's just my thing, But the reason I ask that is, so all this money you've wasted over the years, right? Like, really, if you think about it, how much has that really impacted the way you live now? It'd be nice to have a stack of money in the desk about all the money you wasted, right? But there's so much abundance in the world. I've lost thousands of dollars at casinos. I've lost thousands of dollars. Like, I lost thousands of dollars in cars too. I paid thousands of dollars for a car that was not a good car and got in accidents and wasted. I'm tons of money I've wasted. But now, I'm pretty blessed. Life is abundant. I just look at life as an abundance. It'd be great to have that 10,000, all the credit cards I've used to have. I mean, think about how many credit cards you've had or paid off, or loans that you've had and the interest. Oh, I've paid back $6,000 in interest. You took out a $3,000 loan and ended up paying $5,000 back. It's crazy, right? But really, has it impacted your poverty level, your way of living, your, what I'm saying, your life? And I would venture to say probably not as much as people would think. Because you look back and it's like, dang, I wasted a lot of money. But I look at how I live now, and I'm a little bit smarter, but I got food, I got electricity, I got water, I got money. Good.
Here's a different perspective on that I was thinking about as you were explaining.
Love it.
Have you ever looked at how much money you've made in your lifetime and then wondered where it all went?
Yes. Every day.
Because, and I'm not rich by any means.
All the time.
I'm over $1 million. I know that much. And, What do I have to show for it? It's kind of the mindset that just immediately pops in. But like, I have a nice house and cars and trucks and whatever, but all of that's like monetary, shiny, wow factor crap. Like, none of it's really important, in my opinion, anyway. Like, I don't need a fancy watch and a Lamborghini and a big gigantic house to prove anything to anybody. I like being exactly who I am and living the way I do. And we're not rich, but we're not poor. You know, like, we can pay our bills and we're all fed and happy, and we have everything we could want. And I mean, we don't go on vacations or anything, but we don't really need to be honest.
So just thinking about the 20 years or the 19 and change that I've been in the military, and getting a $50,000 to $60,000 paycheck, and then all of the businesses. I mean, I had a business that would, I was earning $650,000, $600,000 a year. I know I'm well over $1 million that I've earned in my lifetime. And now that you said that, it kind of flipped my mind a little bit. like I earned, like even last year, I earned $116 last year. So where did the $100,000 go? And then you look at your cost of living, you look at your house and your cars and the insurance and the cell phone. Like, we got a cell phone bill today was like $500 because we got new phones. Literally, we got brand new phones, like the S20s or whatever, the Samsung phones. My wife has the Z Flip, the brand new phone. Phones are like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay like $48 a month on them suckers, and then you got to get the cases, then you got to get the pods. It's all this accessories, right? I've got $257 in accessories on my T-Mobile bill that I pay every month. One's $7 a month, one's $30 a month. I mean, this is where we go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you're saying, and I'm thinking, how much money have you made in your lifetime? Like, I've made millions. I know I have. I know, and then I look at my current financial situation, and it just brings that point home, man. Like, how much money have you wasted? Like, the hell?
You want to talk about wasting money? This one's funny. We rented a pontoon boat. We were on one of the lakes right here by the house. My wife couldn't find her phone. Well, I looked down and it was under my leg. I was driving the boat. And I picked it up and I said, "Hey, I found your phone," and it hit the bimini top on the pontoon boat and straight into the lake. We had that phone 2 months. That brand new fancy iPhone with the 3 cameras on the back, whatever it is, along with one of my cards, her debit card, her driver's license. None of her stuff was backed up to the cloud. That was an expensive oopsie, and that was just recently.
Oh my God! I'd be sick.
Yeah, so I spent the whole drive home on the phone with the bank, canceling cards, ordering new ones. She was not happy with me.
Oh, yeah. Hell no. Hell
Everybody goes, "Why didn't you dive in?" Well, my phone was in my pocket, for one. I was wearing boots. My wallet was in my pocket. No, I'm not. Water's cold. You ever been in the lake?
Of course, I'm sure. Because we both have a spouse, I'm sure you got to talking to. Like, I'm glad your stuff's dry. I'm glad you got your stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I still hear about it. She'll periodically bring up those female reminders that they do. "Oh, I used to have a picture of this from our son's birthday party, but it was in my phone." Sure.
I wish I had that picture. Or like your Facebook memories comes up, and you're like, "Oh, I had that picture on my phone. Oh, but my phone's at the bottom of a lake. Got it."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just download it. Not, you know what? Thank God for Facebook, because all of your pictures are backed up, right?
Not all of them, but yeah, you pick the good ones and put them on social media, I guess, right?
Of course. So, as we start to close the show, we always talk about how you've elevated the world around you using that transformational moment, using that why that we talked about in the beginning. So how do you elevate the world around you?
So my answer is going to be completely unrelated from anything that we've talked about.
Love it.
So, and you put Salesforce in my bio, unfortunately. I try to leave company names and stuff out, but it's all good. This company that I'm currently employed with as my full-time career really pushes volunteer work. And right at first, when they come out with all the seminars telling us about how they want us each to have 57 hours, 57 hours of service work done per year. And if we hit that minimum mark, like we can do as much as we want, and they give us the time off to do it paid. As long as we could hit that 57 mark, and then they donate money to a certain amount of money to any charity of our choice, which I thought was really cool. And then you have more tiers per more hours, and then you can donate up to thousands of dollars. And then if you want to donate to a charity and you've hit that mark, they'll match your donation on top. So it's really cool. And it gives not only back to your own community, but to these charities of your choosing. So I thought it was really weird at first, and it took me a while to really grasp what they're pushing. And that was years ago, like 3 years ago, they started really pushing it. And that's when it started to click, because I had kind of teamed up with, I think that they're national now, Habitat for Humanity. They build these housing communities.
Oh, yeah.
And
yep.
They're all low income. People have to qualify for their program, have certain credit, have a job, no drugs. They get tested weekly, all this good stuff. But all of the houses are built almost solely on volunteer work. I built a lot of houses with them to help these people who, like there was one family that really touched my heart that they just lost everything in a house fire, just had a baby, no insurance, got into an apartment, but it was a lower level, and he was in a wheelchair, so they had a really hard time with mobility. The house that we had built them was a complete one level with a ramp and everything. It was awesome. So as far as that transpiring into the future, I've been really, really open about this on my social media. Not for anybody else. It was for myself, and I said it publicly just so that I had some sort of accountability, I guess is a good word. So I had gotten really, not really heavy, but I drank a lot in my younger 20s. Quit when I started training in MMA. Started after I stopped going to the mixed martial arts gym, and it just kind of progressively got harder and harder. Today is my 30th day sober on the number, which is awesome. And I had tried this back in the springtime by myself, never said a word to anybody. People kept telling me to go to AA, all this stuff. And I was like, no, I can do it on my own. I'm not an alcoholic, whatever. So I put it on Facebook, I'm an alcoholic, I'm going to join AA, I'm going to go for 90 days, 90 meetings, and kind of see where it goes. I'm going to work the steps and all this stuff. A week ago, they're really struggling. Everything's on Zoom thanks to the COVID stuff. And so the room's open so that they can invite as many new people as possible, and the room can be found. Along that, there's risks involved, because you have the teenagers and young teenagers that think that they're really funny and need to troll these groups and post very inappropriate content in them to try to disrupt the group. And AA is like the dumbest and worst possible place you could ever do something like that. That is like, you're going to hell, in my opinion. So I got sick of it because there's a host and a co-host, and they're just scrambling, trying to keep all these people out and run the meeting at the same time and help people, give advice, provide phone numbers for people that have signed up for sponsorship, stuff like that. So anyway, it's been about a week, and I'm co-hosting these meetings with these guys, and so I can listen in the background to everything everybody's saying, take in their golden nuggets, as well as kick these idiots out of the group, which is awesome. And I really feel like that is uplifting, not necessarily the world, but at least these people that really need to be focusing on the group and what these other people have to say. Like, I've heard horror stories of stuff I never even could have thought of in my own brain,
right?
Let alone actually meet somebody that's experienced stuff. So
crazy.
Anyway, that's kind of my volunteer work right now. That's just one of those things. I
love it.
I don't mind staying up till 2 a.m. when I have to get up at 6.
Right.
In these meetings, like they start from 9 p.m. and go till 2 a.m. Central every single night. And I've been up quite a bit. I've lost a lot of sleep, but to me, it's worth it because I'm helping other people help me. It's a win-win.
And you've gained some self-worth.
Absolutely.
In the process. Man, I love giving, man. Giving selflessly.
Well, yeah, like, I'm not going to run off, and if I give a single mom who's a waitress a $100 tip, I'm never going to take a picture of it and post it all over social media and go, look at me, I'm awesome. No,
right.
You do
look
service
how awesome my giving is.
For the other person. You don't do it for you, and you don't do it for the recognition. And when people do that, it pisses me off. I can't stand it.
Yeah, so I like watching the videos where guys are like, he's like, hey, what do you think I should tip her? Like, I don't know. And he's like, hey, I really want to do something amazing for the world. So, I don't know, pick a number between 1 through 100. And they'll go 60 something. Like, okay, well, that's your tip for the day. They're like, what? Like, I like stuff like that. But, hey guys, I went to dinner and I had a nice conversation with the waitress. And she said she was broke. And I just tipped her $100. Like, I don't. Okay.
And then they put a picture of it up.
Like,
drives me crazy.
And then put a picture of it in there. It's like there's a difference between, like real time, like, hey, I really want to do something nice for you, and just like put that out into the world. But there's a way to do it to make you look amazing, and there's a really bad way to do it that makes you look douchey. And we don't want to do any douchey stuff. So yeah, man, I totally get that. If anybody wants to find you besides Facebook, LinkedIn, are there any other links, or is this really where we want the listeners to hone in on?
I would prefer them just to go to www.doublebcreates.com. Everything about us is on there, or it will be soon enough. That's the link to our show. It's going to have our store link to it. That's basically just going to be our central hub.
Double B Creates.com. Boom. There you go. Outstanding. Double B Creates.com. Facebook and LinkedIn links are right there in the show notes. As we close, we always close with a message. Kevin, what is your message to the world? What do you want the listeners to know and understand?
There's 2 parts to this, and it's very simple. If you have a passion or an idea that you think is genius, like Sean and I came up with one yesterday, and I reached out to a bunch of my tech friends already, and we're coming up with a plan. Don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. It's a big project.
Beta.
So, if you have an idea that you think is gold, something that is going to not necessarily have to help the world or anything like that, but if it's something that you're passionate and you want to do, just do it. But don't just do it. So get over the fear barrier. And my advice at that point, find the people that are doing exactly what you want to be doing. Follow them, listen to them, learn from them, get to know them, hire them, and then launch whatever product it is or business idea, venture, whatever you want to call it. That way you eliminate a lot of the mistakes, and it ties right back into that fear thing, because you're going to be able to have a lot more skills, a lot more knowledge, and a lot more confidence going into that project. But just do it.
Great message, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your volunteer service that you do as well, and what you're creating for the world, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed talking to you as always.
As always, thank you, man. Likewise. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around him. If anything has resonated with our conversation today, with you, with me and Kevin's conversation, what you've heard on the show, previous shows, whatever, reach out. Let me know. Subscribe, rate, and review the show. Get a hold of Kevin on those social media platforms. Let him know what you thought of the show. Send me an email at Sean@thesuccesscore, CORPS, thesuccesscore.com. You can go to our Facebook links, Life Transformation Radio, YouTube, Life Transformation Radio. Let us know what you think. Always love reading your ratings and reviews. With that said, I close the show by saying live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live an amazing life.